What's up, everybody? My name is Russell Brunson. I'm here today with Justin Benton.
What's up?
And we have been spending the last 2 years on a secret project, flying around the world, doing some really, really cool stuff. And first off, I want to tell you about it. And second off, I want to ask you if you want to be part of it, which we're really excited for. The secret project name is what?
Secrets of Success.
And so I'll tell you guys the backstory. Basically, about 2 years ago, I became mildly obsessed with old books. And I started trying to collect all the first edition and first printings, first manuscripts of many cool books as I could find. And I'm going to show you guys a couple of them really quick today because it has to do with the story I want to tell you. But it started with my favorite authors, Napoleon Hill. A lot of you guys know Napoleon Hill. He wrote the book Think and Grow Rich. But before he wrote Think and Grow Rich, he wrote a book series called The Laws of Success. This is like in the early 1900s. And it was amazing. And the first edition Law of Success is worth, $10,000 or more. But before the first edition Law of Success, he wrote a pre-version, a version that kind of like if you guys are authors, you write a book and you print out a couple copies and send them to your friends and family members to have them look at it and stuff like that. Sometimes they call them a galley copy. But Napoleon Hill wrote a couple galley copies of Laws of Success, sent them out to people like Andrew Carnegie, the President of the United States, the Queen of England, like top business owners in the world. And there's only one known copy of this pre-first edition in the world. It's signed by Napoleon Hill himself. And it's right here. This is the first edition ever, Laws of Success. And this is what started me on this crazy mission. This book set cost $1.5 million. When I saw it, I was like, it's the thing I wanted most in this world. And so I negotiated with the guy who actually owned it. And turns out he had been collecting Napoleon Hill manuscripts and books and artifacts and stuff for over 20 years of his life. And so part of me acquiring this book set, I ended up acquiring his entire collection. So it was kind of fun. My kids and I, we jumped in a private plane. We flew out there and I acquired everything. We looked through like all this stuff. I bought it all. And in the process of buying everything, we found a bunch of really cool things that nobody had ever seen before. In fact, over here's one of them. This was a manuscript for a book that Napoleon Hill wrote called The Hand of Destiny. You can see here's page number 1 right here. And have you ever heard of this book? No, nobody's ever heard of this book because it never got printed. This is Napoleon Hill's actual copy. Like you see, there's like the pages, but you see all of his edits are on this in here. It's got like, anyway, it's kind of cool because this was his personal copy he was editing and it never made it to print. And the crazy story about this, actually, when I met the guy, he used to charge people $10,000 a day to come and actually read these manuscripts. And when I wanted to buy it from him, he wanted to sell it to me for $10,000 per page, which was kind of a lot because there's a lot of pages here. But I negotiated and I ended up spending about $5,000 per page to buy this entire manuscript. And a whole bunch of other cool things. And so I started on this thing, I'm finding these old books and manuscripts and things that the world's never seen before. And as I read them, I'm like, these are some of the best personal development stuff that I've ever read that nobody's ever heard of before. And so I started collecting these things and having a lot of fun. And about that time, Justin and I started partnering up on this. And I was telling him about all these things I was finding. And Justin's like, well, we should get to know the Napoleon Hill Foundation. And then I'm going to have Justin tell the next part of the story because it's even crazier from here.
Well, so basically, in Russell's world, inner circle, obviously Russell's the internet's favorite marketer, and learning everything that I possibly could. And in learning all the incredible things that I learned, I saw the passion that he had. It was actually a newsletter that he had, the No BS newsletter. And in the back was Napoleon Hill that had talked about education. There's no such thing as education, there's only self-education. Well, I posted that in the Facebook group for the inner circle. And I said, hey, if anybody wants to know the deets, there's going to be an auction in Hollywood Hills, let me know. And sure enough, 10 minutes later, chirp, chirp, Voxer, Russell, what's the deets? He goes, I just got my boat. I'm going to go out and take it out for the first time. But if you're going, oh my gosh, that would be so great.
Justin was in the auction, like bidding on stuff. And I'm on the boat with my kids, driving them. And I'm like, bid again, go higher. Like, it was this crazy day. And that's how we kind of built the...
Yeah. Well, I was like, do you want it? And he's hiding down in the wind trying to talk to him. He's like, yes, I want it. This first edition signed copy. And so anyways, it was so exciting. And then that was the beginning of our relationship when it came to this. And so Russell said, well, that was really awesome. What else can we do? And I was like, okay. And so I flew out to Wise, Virginia at the Napoleon Hill Foundation. I met with Don and I was like, well, this is just a perfect opportunity for Russell wants to be a part of the foundation and highlight Napoleon Hill and highlight the greatest thinkers of the world. And Don wants to raise money for a charity. And we just shook hands like the old Southern way. And that began the beginning of this incredible relationship. And so many amazing things are happening. And here's the crazy thing. I learned this from Russell. Russell taught the Dream 100, as so many of you guys know, and that's what we're talking about, is developing those real relationships. We want you, because you are our Dream 100, to help us promote this exciting, amazing, once-in-a-lifetime vision and movement that we're creating right here. But I'll let Russell tell you more about it, but I'm telling you, this is going to change the world. His dedication over the last 3 or 4 years, spending millions upon millions of dollars. You should see the boxes stacking up in his office. It's incredible what he's committed, and his passion for knowledge and teaching and really understanding this personal development movement, dating all the way back to Samuel Smiles, all the way back to the 1850s. And here we are, we're bringing all of this information to you, to serve your audiences, to serve your, the people that follow you, to make sure that they have access to this. So
after Justin said the deal with the foundation, it was fun. We all flew out there and we had a chance to meet Don, hang out with everybody, and he started showing us all these crazy manuscripts, which most of them are here with me. So I want to show you, a lot of you guys have read the book Outwitting the Devil, which is Napoleon Hill's best book ever. If you've never read anything, this is where to start. But Don sent us, just one day in the mail, we got the manuscript. This is the actual manuscript that Napoleon Hill wrote when he wrote Outwitting the Devil, which is crazy. And so he sent us this manuscript, and then he sent us another manuscript. There's a book he wrote that never got published called Outwitting the Beast, and he sent us this manuscript, and there's all these things Napoleon Hill wrote and published that the world's never seen. And so about that time, we started thinking, we need to create something amazing. I want to create something to share Napoleon Hill's work, but also some of the other great thought leaders of this time that nobody even remembers, that I don't even know their names. And so we decided to create a company called Secrets of Success. And so if you know how my world works, we created a membership site that has access to these documents, information, the training, the coaching, a whole bunch of really, really cool things. We want to create an irresistible offer to make it so that everybody would want to be part of it. And so we put together a really cool offer. This is called the Secrets of Success Kit, that we want to, first off, I want to send a copy to you so you can have a copy of this. But second off, we want to take this, and this is the offer that we're promoting to our audience. We live to promote to your audience as well. And so what they do is for basically to cover the shipping and handling, we'll ship you this huge box. And inside the box, there's 3 cool things. Number 1 is the most famous Napoleon Hill book, which is Think and Grow Rich. But this is the version that I had a chance to kind of edit and have some fun with. I wrote the foreword for this version. We designed it. And so this is a new version of Think and Grow Rich that I'm really proud of and really excited to get people. So this is the first thing that will come inside this box that they get for free. But then there's 2 unpublished Napoleon Hill manuscripts that nobody's ever seen before. The first one is actually, this is a booklet he wrote called It'll Place You Wherever You Wish to Be Amongst Men. And Napoleon Hill, back in 1919, when he had the Napoleon Hill magazine, this was his offer to get people into the magazine. So he charged, basically sold this for $50, or you could get it for free when you joined his subscription. And what's crazy is $50 back in 1919 is equivalent of $2,800 today. So that's the value of this. This is the only known copy on the planet. And guess what? Nobody's ever read this before. And this we republished this in this book right here. And so this book, you'll be one of the first people to ever read this, will be inside of this kit as well. It'll place you wherever you wish to be amongst men, practical lessons in applied psychology. And this book is insane. One of the best things he's ever written that, again, nobody's ever seen. And then another thing, Don Green sent me another manuscript that Napoleon Hill wrote called The Secrets of Master Salesmanship, which is all about sales and psychology. And it is worth its weight in gold, and nobody's ever read it before. So we had the rights from Napoleon Hill Foundation to republish that. And so inside this kit, you get these 3 books. You get the Think and Grow Rich, It'll Place You Where You Wish to Be Amongst Men, and Secrets of Master Salesmanship. You get these 3 books for free when you subscribe to the membership site. And so this is the offer we're going to be promoting to our list very, very soon. We want to see if you want to be interested in promoting to your list as well, for a couple reasons. Number 1, it is the most insane offer I think ever. Who wouldn't pay for $0 and just cover shipping to get these 3 books? Number 2, inside the membership site, and we'll show you more about that down below, but inside the membership site, people get access to all these things that nobody's ever had before. We're creating audiobooks and video books and PDFs, all sorts of stuff from this that people can have access to. And so if you are selling, it doesn't matter what you're selling, if your people need personal development, they need success principles, things like that, this is a great product that'll kind of piggyback and help amplify whatever messages you have. And you guys want a couple other cool things while we're here. So again, this book right here became this one right here. This manuscript I showed you guys earlier that I ended up spending $5,000 per page for. This book, again, has never been published before. So when somebody signs up for the subscription to Secrets of Success, they get this entire kit for free. But then the upsell is basically, we reprinted this book right here, and they can get a free copy of this book as well. The same one that people pay $10,000 per day to read, they'll get a free copy of this if they subscribe, if they basically pay for a year in advance. And then if you look at this book, the way we publish this one is really cool. You open it up, on the left-hand side, it's got the photocopy of the manuscript, and the right-hand side, our editors edit it based on Napoleon Hill's actual edits. And so you see page by page, you can actually read the original left-hand side or the edited version. And this is like one of the coolest books ever. We printed this in a special way. This is how books back in the day used to come. They would come sealed, page by page. Like you literally have to open each page as you go through it. And so, anyway, that's how this book is. It's like an old book with the original manuscripts. Literally, people pay 10 grand a day to read. Your people get this for free when they subscribe for a year, and a bunch of other cool things. So we're excited because the offer is insane. It's something that it doesn't matter what business you're in, this is something that will serve your audience. Because if you're selling stock trading, they need personal development. You're selling fitness, they need personal development. You're selling internet marketing, coaching, like whatever it is you're selling. This brand, this business, become the personal development arm to help people be more successful. Because you know as well as I do that, like for me, when I'm coaching people on how to build funnels, the tactics of building a funnel is like 10%, and 90% is the psychology between their ears. This is where people get stuck. And so that's what this whole business is to help your people to fix the psychology in their minds so they'll be more successful with your programs as well. And so this is an offer. It's coming out really, really soon, and we'd love for you guys to promote it. Again, it's a fun, free offer. It's free plus shipping. They get this entire thing in the mail. It adds them to our subscription, and it's going to be something really, really cool. So that's kind of the game plan. Do you want to talk about just some of the compensation, this is something that I think for a lot of you guys will become like your number 2 income stream, or for some of you guys even your number 1 income stream as you guys decide to promote and be part of the movement.
Well, all I know is that this has been like a top secret compensation plan that's been like tearing through the world, and Russell's been so excited. We can't give you all the details right now, but down below I'm sure we'll have a lot more that you can dig into. But essentially, we are creating a business within a business, and for your people that you're going to be able to be talking to, it is going to be an amazing opportunity. And the thing that I'm most excited about is not only the compensation is going to be off the charts, but it's going to be the impact. Look, we're going all the way back to 1850s when this whole thing got started. Basically, people have been copying people all the way up until now. Why not go to the horse's mouth where it really, really started and learn these fundamental principles that have been proven over generations? And so I'm just so excited. I can't wait to tell you all about the compensation plan. I'm here to be Russell's right-hand man. You got any questions? You want to get pumped up? You want some books? You want some things? We can serve your audience? You have some creative ideas? Let's talk. Let's figure it out, because this is going to change the world, and I'm just so excited that you're going to be a part of it.
Yeah. The last thing, this is launching this last quarter of the year, and we're going to do a cool affiliate contest. The game plan right now is the top 10 affiliates between now and the end of the year who promote this offer. Top 10 affiliates, we want you guys to come out here and actually spend some time letting you guys see the manuscripts and reading them stuff, but actually doing like a full-out mastermind, like a Laws of Success, Think and Grow Rich mastermind here in the offices with the top 10 affiliates. And so we don't have the dates and times. All that stuff will be down on the page down below, but that's kind of the game plan. Is the top affiliates over the next 90 days or so will have a chance to come to this private mastermind meeting and hang out in a small group of great entrepreneurs and business people, and it's going to be insanely cool. So we'd love for you to be part of this movement. This is something, again, I've spent the last 2 or 3 years of my life, I spent literally over $10 million right now acquiring these books and manuscripts and things, and I'm so excited now to share them with my audience and with your audience. And so thank you guys so much. Again, Justin and I are working on this together. He'll be getting a hold of you to figure out the next steps, how we can serve you, and how you guys can be part of this. Thanks so much. We appreciate you all, and we cannot wait to see you here in Boise when you're hanging out at the Mastermind.
All right.
Thanks, everybody.
Talk soon.
What's up, Inner Circle, Atlas, Category Kings, also 2CCX, and everyone here at Mastermind Paradise. I want to make you a very special video today, because today I want to make you $1 million offer. Now, before I tell you what that is, I want to give you some context and tell you a story. So, as you know, you've been hearing me talk about this thing that I'm building in Boise. This Russell guy keeps buying all these old books, and he's freaking out about it. Now I'm building a library. A library. All you guys know, I'm building a 20,000 square foot library/museum for all my books. In the last 24 months, I've bought probably 8,000 or 9,000 books now. Spent over 8 figures on old first edition books. And you're probably thinking, like, either Russell is crazy or he has a vision for something really cool. And so I want to tell you the vision. As I was going through all of the Napoleon Hill stuff, right? In fact, these are some first edition manuscripts that I was sent by the Napoleon Hill Foundation. They sent me manuscripts of books that haven't been published yet. As amazing as Outwitting the Devil is, Napoleon Hill wrote another book called Outwitting the Beast that nobody's seen. And I have the manuscripts in my hand. As I've been going through all these things, it's fascinating. One of the things that Napoleon Hill tried to do, from the very beginning, he had a vision. He wanted to create a school for success. He knew that he was going to go and interview all of the most successful people on the planet, and he was going to write this philosophy, and he spent 20 years doing that, and then he wrote The Laws of Success. And The Laws of Success was a hit. As the money started coming in, his first thing was to do is, I'm going to go establish a school for success. And he bought this huge land and had a house on it, and he was going to be building out a school, his whole vision for what he was going to create. And it was amazing. It was the very first place, like a college that you could go to where you're not going to learn the stupid things that don't actually matter, but you learn true success principles to create the next generation of wealthy people in the world. He was so excited for it, and then shortly after he bought the estate and everything, he had the vision what he was going to create.
The tremendous crowds which you see gathered outside the stock exchange are due to the greatest crash in the history of the New York Stock Exchange in market prices.
That's when there was the Depression, and he ended up losing the home, losing the land, losing everything, and the vision was put on hold. He literally worked with the presidents of the United States trying to solve the Depression. In fact, he was the one that gave Franklin D. Roosevelt the quote,
that the only thing we have to fear is fear itself.
which changed people out of the Depression and started bringing back prosperity. And then shortly afterwards, when he wrote the book Think and Grow Rich, which was written at the end of the Depression to help give people faith and hope. And he wrote this book and it took off and it blew up. And then he decided, I'm gonna go build a school of success. And he started working towards that again. And then the next trial in his life hit and he lost it all and he wasn't able to. And fast forward to the rest of his life, he kept trying to go back to that goal, kept trying to go back to it. And eventually he retired. And a little while later, he met W. Clement Stone, who was someone who had read the book Think and Grow Rich and built one of the largest insurance companies on the planet based on the principles.
This is W. Clement Stone saying, I feel healthy, I feel happy, I feel terrific.
W. Clement Stone and Napoleon Hill partnered together, got Napoleon Hill out of retirement, and then they started a company together teaching these philosophies again. And sure enough, right away, Napoleon Hill's like, how do we build this into a school? How do we, maybe it's a franchise, maybe we have schools all over the world. He kept trying to pursue this vision, but it never happened. And a couple years ago when I started this idea, I started buying these old books and we bought the land to build the museum and the event center on, and all these things started happening. At first the vision wasn't super clear, but I did know it was something related to that. The problem though with any type of school, it's like a physical school, is people have to come to the place. They have to come to Boise to go to physical school. They have to go to Ohio or wherever the school's at, right? To go and attend it, which limits you by geography and region, so many things. And if you really want to change the world, you can't create a school that's just in one spot. You have to create a school that's everywhere. And so I want you to imagine, it's the year 3000. And somebody decides they want to enroll in Success School. And so they enroll, and what happens, they get a box in the mail, they open it up, and there's these amazing VR goggles. He puts on these VR goggles, and as he puts them on, instantly he's transformed into an actual location in Boise, Idaho, where there's this huge event center, and there's a museum, and he walks in the front door, and he walks around and sees all of the first edition books from all the greatest minds of our time. And they can walk over and literally grab the book and start flipping through it and reading these books digitally. And they walk in the event center and they see this amazing event center, they see the stage, and they sit down in one of the seats and they pull out the equivalent of a TV guide and they're like, oh my gosh, did you realize that Tony Robbins spoke here before he passed away? I want to watch that presentation. And they click a button and in real time it pops up and you see Tony Robbins in 3D in that event center giving a 3-day event on his philosophy in life. And they have a chance to sit there and watch this thing. And then they can sit and look at the person left and right of them and who's watching the same thing, have conversations and dialogues, go in the other room and have mastermind meetings and do this all virtually and take the glasses off. And that was one day in school. We're lucky that all of us here have benefited from the works of amazing people who came before us, right? We're able to, like Tony Robbins say, take a decade of someone's life. Someone spends a year of their life trying to figure out health or relationships or how to grow a business or whatever it is, right? They spend all this time trying to learn this thing and then they write a book and they leave it behind. And that book is their legacy. It's their gift to us from everything they learned during their entire life. And that's what we are creating, is we're creating something where all the greatest thought leaders of our time will have a chance to leave a legacy behind for the future. And so that's what I'm creating. I know it's kind of crazy. The investment so far on my side has been insane. Just acquiring the books and the original manuscripts of all these things. A lot of my mission obviously is helping you as entrepreneurs, and most of you guys are the people who someday should be presenting in this library, sharing your philosophies on life, on health, on relationships, on whatever it is that you are the best in the world at. And that's what this event center is created for us, for our people, for the 1% crazy who are crazy enough to think they can change the world. Because as you know and I know, we're the only ones that actually can. And so that's kind of the vision of what's happening. Now, I want to take you guys inside the library to kind of show you what it looks like. And I keep calling the library, it's closer to a museum and an event center, but I want to transform you guys and show you inside so you can see what we're building. If you look at now, after 3 years of dreaming and visualizing, working with architects to build out all the plans, the event center, it's a 20,000 square foot building. Half of the building is a library / museum holding the most rare first edition books and manuscripts from all the greatest thought leaders of all time. And on the other side is an actual event room where we can stand on stage, we can present, we can teach, we can train, we can capture all the ideas that are worth capturing and hearing about. It's really a spot for people to come to have a chance to like get away from the world and to think and to share and to talk and to be around people who are like them, who think like them, who act like them, so that our visions can grow even bigger. So I want to walk you through some of the cool things that you'll find when you walk through the doors the very first time. One of my favorite things is this statue set that I had commissioned.
So these are like a resin right now, but I painted them to look like, you know, what they might look like in a patina. I just can't wait to have those at full scale. And looking up at it, it's gonna be, because, you know, he'll be like this tall. He's 8 feet tall. That's gonna be awesome.
When I was first thinking about this and brainstorming, I read the book Atlas Shrugged, and it talks all about the producers, the prime movers, the entrepreneurs of the world. They're the ones who are literally carrying the entire weight of the world on their shoulders. And it talks about what happens when society gets to the point where the government and outside things put so much pressure that it's no longer worth it for Atlas to continue to hold the world up, right? Well, he stands up and he shrugs and walks away. And that's kind of what this is Atlas shrugging and then walking away from the world. And you look at this is the progression of what can happen to entrepreneurs, prime movers. And my goal in everything I do in my business, you notice it from my books to the courses, the events, everything we do is all about supporting the prime movers, supporting those who are holding the weight of the world on their shoulders, because I don't want you to shrug and walk away. Your responsibility is great. The way you're changing your people's lives, I can't imagine what this world would be like without you. And so that's what this all symbolizes. We will have 9-foot versions of Atlas holding a 6-foot globe as a constant reminder of who this is for. It's for the prime movers, the driven, the people like you. After you get past the Atlas statues, then you'll have a chance to look in and see all of the books. My goal with this was like to try to find the history in these books, right? Again, manuscripts, like this is the first edition manuscript, an unpublished work by Napoleon Hill called The Secrets of Master Salesmanship. Like this is literally something he typed on his typewriter. It's all of the stuff. In fact, this is the first edition of his typewriter. Like Think and Grow Rich, Outwitting the Devil, these books were written on this actual typewriter. Like those things are all in there. Dan Kennedy literally has signed in his will that when he or his fax machine dies, we'll have Dan Kennedy's actual fax machine in there. Like we're finding all the artifacts for business, for success, or personal development that mean a lot to us as the prime movers. All the first editions, like the pre-first edition of Laws of Success, written 3 years before the actual Laws of Success was published. And there's only 2 known copies in the world, and only 1 that's signed, and we have it. It'll be in the library. So much of what is published nowadays at seminars and events and in books is a regurgitation from this person, this person, all the way down to like someone's quoting something from stage they read off an Instagram post and acting like they made it up. This is coming back to the beginning. The people that actually discovered this and how did they find that and what were they thinking, and like that's what this is all about. Instead of playing phone booth and learning from the influencers 30 levels deep, it's learning from the foundation, from the source of where these ideas first came from. Like imagine coming here and spending a week in the library and reading from these manuscripts. Like it's insane. It's magical. Like just even being in this room for me, it's like spiritual. Like it feels, there's a weird energy when you're here because you're just like, wow, these are, this is the life works of some of the greatest minds of our time who transformed the world, who opened up the ability for us to do all the things we do today. We knew that as we were building this, it couldn't just be a normal room. We needed some really cool things. So in the center of the museum, when you walk in, there's a button you can push and the floor actually will open up and reveal a spiral stairway that you can walk down. And as you walk down, some of the most rare books will be down there protected by from humidity and from heat and from everything down there. And as you walk to the bottom of the spiral staircase, there'll be 1 chair. And there'll only be 1 person allowed at a time there to go and have complete solitude. Superman would go and he'd have his fortress of solitude where he could study and he could learn, he could be by himself. And this is that for the prime movers. When you have a chance to come, you could have a chance to be in there with your thoughts, with the greatest works of our time. And so that's what's happening right in the middle of the museum. Come on now. So cool. And then the third thing is, obviously, everything happening in the museum is what was left behind by the greatest minds who came before us. And the event center now is about capturing the minds we have today. The reasons why I want this museum to have these amazing things is because I want it to be able to attract the greatest minds of our time. Tony Robbins or Jordan Peterson or Michael Jordan or Oprah or something. Say, hey, how would you like to come see the archives of the greatest success works ever created? and get them to come in to see these things. And after they're there, put them on stage and have a chance to capture their philosophy on life, on success and personal development and things that change their lives as well. And when we capture them, I don't want to just capture this in like a video, like how many videos are on YouTube? Like I want to make something special. The technology we'll be equipped in this room with, we'll be able to capture everything in 3D. So that way in 2,000 years from now, when somebody in Africa or Australia decides to sign up for our School of Success and they put on the VR goggles, they'll see and experience Tony Robbins the way that we all have a chance to experience live, in person, 3D, real. We don't want this just to be another video on YouTube. We want this to be an experience. Because you know, like going to an event and having that experience can change your life. You can get value from other ways, but man, there's nothing like experiencing that live. And so the entire event center is going to be a spot to capture people in as real of life as possible so we can extend them, their life, and their legacy for forever. All right, that brings us down to step number 3. As you know, there's a hook, there's a story, and now I've got to make you an offer. I do this knowing full well that for most of you guys, this offer is not something that's going to be a good fit for you. But I do know that for some of you guys, this is the thing you're looking for. It's the reason why I've gone on the pursuit of this. Like the question I keep asking myself is, how do I live forever? How do I extend my legacy? Like I've spent so much time and energy. I don't want when I end that the work ends as well. I know that most of you guys who are here, the reason why you keep doing this is because you love what you do. This is a mission impact thing for you. And I've seen so many authors who had such a great legacy, and as soon as they passed away, it ended. There's very few authors who have outlived their lifespan. And somebody asked me in one of my Atlas meetings, said, why are you doing this, Russell? What is your purpose? And I said, the reason why, because I realized that if I can extend the life of these authors, then the vehicle I'll have to create to do that will extend my life as well. For some of you guys who see the vision that I do, and you want to extend your life and your legacy for forever, I want to give you an opportunity. It's a rare opportunity. It's only going to be here once, and then it'll be gone for forever. But it's an opportunity for you to become a founding member in the vision of what we're creating, and by doing so, extend your legacy into the future forever as well. So what does that look like? Well, as I was thinking through this and researching it, Kevin Richards on my team told me a story about when the Rams were building their football stadium, they needed to raise $1 billion. I thought, well, how are we going to raise $1 billion to do this?
LA Rams and the Chargers are ready to start selling their premium seats at their new stadium in Inglewood.
The majority of its seats, if not all, will require a personal seat license, or PSL.
Kevin was one of thousands and thousands of people who went and they pre-bought a seat inside the stadiums. And the way it works is anytime there's any event happening in the stadium, he owns those seats. So he has first right of refusal. So he still has to buy a ticket to the event. He doesn't get the seats for free, but he has the first right to buy the ticket to sit in his seats. If Britney Spears is coming in town, he gets a message a week earlier saying, hey, Britney Spears is coming. Do you want to reserve your seats? If he says yes, he gets first right of refusal on those seats. If he says no, then the seats go to the open market and they sell them to somebody else. But he has first right of refusal to those seats for as long as he holds that seat license. He spent $50,000 for those 2 seats, and they did that with the entire stadium and raised over $1 billion to build the stadium. As I looked at that model, I realized that that's something similar to what I want to do here. Inside the event center, there are a little over 100 seats. And obviously there's front row, which are way better than the second row, which are way better than the third row. What I want to offer you guys is the ability to buy a seat license where you would own the rights to that seat. You still have to buy tickets to the events that are happening, but you would have first right of refusal every single time. So for example, if we have a Tony Robbins event and Tony's coming for 3 days to teach his philosophy on success, you would have the first right of refusal to buy that seat. You buy the seat, you show up, and that is your seat. And if you don't want to take that seat, you can sell it to somebody else. Or if you just leave it alone, then we could sell it on the open market. But that would be your seat. You have first right of refusal for any event. Now again, my goal is to bring the greatest minds of all time. So that means bringing Tony, bringing Oprah, bringing Jordan Peterson, bringing Michael Jordan, bringing like all of the greatest minds in personal development, success in every genre. Like I want to bring those people and have them present, which means you'd have first right of refusal for any of those events. You would have that for every single thing that's happening here inside of the actual event center. So I wanted to make sure that this offer for you, despite the fact that you're getting your own seat with your name on it. So anyone who comes will see like, this is that person's seat. Like they'll know it's yours. On top of that, I was like, how do I make this so this offer is completely irresistible? So it's not just costing you money, but it's free, or it's better than free. And so inside of this, I wanted to build something that I think for some of you guys, this alone will make you as much or more money than your actual businesses today. Every single license that somebody has inside of this, it's going to come a virtual seat license. What does that mean? Is that depending on which row your seat is, you may have 10, 20, or 30 virtual licenses to any of the events that are happening. So that means is you can tell your entire community, like, hey, I'm going to go hear Michael Jordan for 3 days, teach his philosophies on success and life. I've got 30 tickets where you can watch streaming with me. and then we're gonna do a mastermind afterwards and go deep, or whatever it is, right? And you can sell those tickets. You can sell those tickets for 10, 20, 30 grand a piece. It's significant, especially when you figure out for one event. And if we're doing an event every week or every other week or however often we're doing those, and every single time you can sell access to those, that benefit alone, I want you guys to understand, like, if we do 20 events over the year and you sell tickets to all 20 of those events to your people, or just it gets your highest level mastermind members to stick longer because of these amazing things you're giving them, you should be able to recoup your entire investment year number one. And then after that, every event we do afterwards is just pure profit in your pocket without any of the costs or the stress or anything. That's one way this become better than free for you. The second way, and this is depending on where you are, which row your seat is. So this isn't available for all the seats, but for those of you guys who are in the front row, you will also have a chance to do your 3-day event here at the actual event center. Now that means a couple of things. Number one, it's your event, means you will have the ability to sell access to your people to your event. Okay, so my guess is for most of you guys, you'll make at least $1 million just having people coming to experience you teaching yourself live. Okay, so that alone will, again, completely cover the investment of the seat. But number two, and this is what I think is even more important, is that we'll be filming it in our event center with all the 3D cameras and everything. And what will happen at the end is when it's done is you will be part of the event center. Your teachings, your philosophy, everything you shared on stage will be there. And that means, again, in 3,000 years from now, when the kid from Argentina pulls out a TV guide and he's like looking at Tony Robbins and sees your name, he clicks a button and boom, you're there teaching him live, even though you've been passed for so long. My goal with this is to make it better than free, but more so is to extend you and your legacy for forever. Those are some of the benefits. There's more, and I'll talk about that probably in a presentation or some slides or somewhere. I'm creating it for these authors who have passed on. I've created it for me to extend my legacy. I'm creating it for you because I believe in what you guys are doing. I believe in your message. I believe in your mission. Like, the reason why I kill myself every single day still is because I know that you have the ability to change people's lives if you can get your message out to the world. That's why we built ClickFunnels. That's why we write books. That's why we do all these things. But what about in 100 years from now or 500 years from now? Like, I don't want that legacy to end when you end, right? You putting in the time, the effort. Like, there are people who are coming in the future who need what you have to say. And if we don't figure out ways to extend your legacy, then it could be gone forever. And so I want to invite you to become one of our founding members. There's no hard pitch. If you're interested in something like this, let me know. There's only 100 seats in the entire event center as a whole, and we're only selling licenses to the first 2 or 3 rows. And so if you think this is something that would make sense for you, the $1 million investment doesn't scare you to death, you realize and you know exactly how you can sell access to the seats. You know that your 2 or 3 day event will completely make the money back. If you know this is something that's going to be easier than free for you, then come let me know. Text me, Vox me, run up to me. The seats are going to be very, very limited. When we get back from Mastermind in Paradise, I'll be making this presentation to my other friends. People who aren't here in the room with us today, but people like Tony Robbins, like Dean, like a lot of the other great thought leaders of our time. I'll be making personal presentations to them as well. So if you want the ability to have your name next to theirs and to mine and to these other authors in the library as one of our founding members, please let me know. I hope you enjoyed this presentation. Hopefully you've enjoyed everything you've learned so far. And if nothing else, hopefully you had a chance to see how to pitch and prepare $1 million offer, and hopefully help you in your offers in the future. Thanks so much, you guys. I cannot wait to help you extend your legacy forever.